Also tonight, Joe Biden. Well, he's in trouble. The former frontrunner, and now trails Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. I told you about the socialism. In a new poll that just came out from Monmouth, he's dropped 13 points in 2 months. Now, if you watch this show, these results should not come as a surprise. Now, we've been telling you now for weeks, if not longer, that Biden's lead was only temporary. Now, the real news, and it relates to my angle, is that as Trump returns from Europe, where a number of countries are suffering due to these, socialism, the love of socialism, Democrat voters are dead set on embracing those very same programs and policies that are tanking Europe, courtesy now of Warren and Sanders. It's like 3 weeks ago, leftovers being served to you as fresh food. Now, here now is Project 21's Horace Cooper and Luis Miranda, former communications director for the DNC. Luis, why are the Democrats rushing to embrace the socialist model that is clearly crashing and burning before our very eyes in Europe?
Well, I don't think that's the case at all. I think, for starters,
Europe's doing well? Wait a second. Europe's doing well.
I think, well, first, I think you have a very competitive primary in the Democratic side, which Joe Biden has been doing very well in. And other polls show him actually regaining some of the support that he had lost after that first debate and consolidating some of that. So I think it's too close to tell. And I think that it's going to be a primary process that leaves us with a strong candidate, whatever the outcome is. But
OK, so you're saying that socialism isn't becoming more popular in your party? Because I don't know what you're not reading.
Twitter,
every
Twitter,
single
absolutely.
poll shows
Laura,
no, not just on Twitter.
On Twitter,
Gallup,
I think that's where the most is showing.
all the polls are showing that socialism. I mean, Luis, we can say 2 + 2 is 5, but I'm actually telling you what the polls are saying. Horace, look, I wish it weren't so. I remember the Democrat Party from the 90s, where you could actually work with Republicans and not call them white supremacists. I remember that party. But what's going on now is they're actually embracing socialism as we see it tanking Europe.
So a couple things. One is socialism's on the rise with progressives and the Democrats, and Vice President Joe Biden is in the middle of a meltdown. When you stand up and you issue a statement that you haven't lost your mind, it's a little bit reminiscent of back in the 70s when the New York Times wrote a story on the 10 dumbest United States senators. Bill Scott from Virginia held a press conference to announce, "I am not that dumb." This isn't the sign of a successful campaign. It's not the sign of a winner. And this is a problem because the socialists are going to rush past the old, tired Joe Biden that can't seem to figure out what state
I think
he
a
is in or
little
where
self-deprecation on the campaign trail is fine. I think if you want to do a contest of crazy things said on the campaign trail, I think Donald Trump takes the cake easily.
Well,
I mean, he just went to the G7 insulting our
Donald
allies
Trump knows
and
that it's
suggesting
cake.
that you bring Russia
G7.
back in
Yeah, okay.
when he's basically suggesting is that let's disregard the fact that they've threatened Europe, that they stole a piece of the Ukraine.
We did our foreign policy segment. We're moving on to domestic politics, but we could talk about that for an hour. All right. Biden didn't know where he was this weekend, right? He had trouble a couple times not knowing exactly where he was, and he travels a lot, so I guess you can get mixed up. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. But he's done that kind of a lot, right? So could his gaffes, which voters may have found endearing when he was vice president, could he be kind of catching up with him now? Now, here he is on Friday. I want to play this for people after he got confused about where he was speaking.
I just spoke at Dartmouth on health care at the medical school, or not. I guess I wasn't actually on the campus, but the people from the medical school were at the. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. I'm not sure whether it was a medical school or where the hell I spoke, but it was on the campus.
Oh, my God. I mean, I kind of like Biden, I've got to say, but
he was actually, look, I'm not a spokesman for Biden, but he was clearly correcting it because he knew that he would be called out for saying the wrong place. So he turned it into a joke, and I think it's fine. I think, again, when you compare it to some of the things that Donald Trump is saying, including suggesting that he was going to buy Greenland, including suggesting that Russia should be rewarded for stealing a part of Ukraine, I think you start to see a contrast.
He talked about a pragmatic approach.
Bring him back in
Keep going back to foreign policy. All right, thank you both for being. Thank you both for being here. We had a short segment, but it was great. All right.